and they have a nice, sensible, traditional, but well-executed choral performance. Maggie Smith nods and gives a little Nuns thumbs up in the audience, but then Whoopi's like, a 7, 6, 7, 8, and they
boogie woogie on the boogie woogie on the piano.
They come in, and these Sesame Street teenage girls come in with their big earrings and their leather jackets, and the Monsignor's like, come. And the church is filling up really fast because one song was played. And
it's a kick-ass song. To be faithful, and I'm gonna, you best be believing I won't be deceiving, my God. No. Okay. That's
get it
all
out of the way now.
Yeah, no, I won't do it again.
You certainly will.
And I'm gonna. I love all of her parts. We're talking Sister Act. What's your name?
The song was stuck in my head all night. I'm like, this is never going away. And now for the life of me, I can't even start it.
It's the first one. The one where they do, with the most Catholic one that they sing.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. And I'm not going to put it back in your head.
Okay, welcome to Load Bearing Beams, a podcast about movies and relationships where we're married to each other. We talk about movies. My name is Matt Stokes.
At the end of the episode, we get a divorce. My name is Laci Roth.
Not according to the Catholic dogma that I wholeheartedly subscribe to.
You and me both, bub.
This is a Catholic podcast. Did you know that?
I now do.
I know you know, but the people listening to this and watching, have you noticed the little messages we've been putting in?
That's right.
I'm just like Eucharist this and Mary Magdalene that.
Monsignor.
Monsignor.
Etc.
Yeah, it's our podcast. So right up front, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button.
Please do it.
Never mentioned that before, but please do it.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you told me to do it, and I thought that's a good job.
It's a good idea.
There's some other plugs I'm going to do. Our audience is growing a little bit, and we need to instruct them. Doing a little research and found you need to weaponize your existing audience. Get them more engaged with your content. So if we talk about a movie that we've already done before,
breaking the fourth wall, right? You're part of our cog. You're a cog of our pot.
Yeah, I'm giving you all assignments. If I bring up a movie that we've already talked about, I'm going to say, you can hear episode number this, still hear back to it. That way, we have an extensive catalog.
So big.
That you can listen to. So right up front, hit like if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, just go subscribe on YouTube anyway. But yeah, we're talking about Sister Act. And this was Laci's movie. One of us picks a movie, makes the other one watch it. And you did that, and we watched it. And now here we are.
Hello.
When did you see Sister Act for the first time?
Don't know. What year did it come out?
92?
And I saw it then.
Did you see it in theaters?
I don't know that I was a theater going person just yet. That would have been second grade. So, but I mean, come on, it's a God movie. Although we were Baptists, so Catholics would have been also going to hell. But I
learned from Laci that the Baptists and the Catholics have a very one-sided rivalry with like this God.
Right, Catholics are like,
those devil-worshipping Catholics.
Come on in. And Baptists are like, no,
you witching pagan weirdos.
They're very witchy. Look at their outfits. Yeah, so I think HBO is probably when I discovered this. Not me having HBO, but Miss Barbara, my person who would watch me over the summer and introduce me to all that HBO had to offer.
The oft mentioned Miss Barbara with her VHS catalog.
Miss Barbara.
She had the index cards, right?
Yeah. Where you would normally put recipes, but no, not Miss Barbara. She would put homemade VHS tapes.
Is she still alive? Can we interview her? Oh, man.
She passed. Yeah.
Is she in heaven or hell?
Well, she was Catholic, so she's in heaven.
Oh, of course. Yes. Good.
Okay. So this just so much yes for this movie. It's forever good and good to dance to. It's a movie to watch when you're feeling all your feelings or none of them. It's a movie for all time. Yes. Great pun. Okay. Great nun pun.
Do you know when the last time you saw it was?
At least 20 years.
Were you nervous at all that I wouldn't like it? Okay.
No, and you can listen to my prediction as I think we're about to. I was really sure of this one.
But you're getting a little cocksure lately. You're like, every movie I pick is great.
I finally got into my rhythm of knowing when I was used to be smart.
Yeah.
When I was used to be. And I don't know, this one, it's just got Whoopi Goldberg in it. And it's got the lady from Hocus Pocus. I mean, we can't go wrong. It's got Molly.
Those are the two things you need. This doesn't have Molly Shannon in it. Maggie Smith?
Yes, Maggie Smith. And it's got Liam Neeson.
You
know who I mean.
Laci.
Harvey Keitel.
Okay.
They look the same.
They look nothing alike. They're nothing.
They look exactly the same.
Okay. Is Harvey Keitel hot? Is he one of these old men you find hot?
No.
I think a lot of people think he's really sexy.
Yeah, I get it. But no, not me.
You should see The Piano. He's so sexy in that.
I refuse. It sounds boring.
So this is a podcast about The Piano, but we're going to talk a little bit about Sister Act, which I had never seen. And I know it's a big movie for a lot of people, and it was a big giant hit in the early 90s. And Whoopi Goldberg was a megastar. And doing a little research about her, I realized certain assumptions I had about her, like why did she stop making movies? It's like I felt dumb. Like, of course she didn't choose to stop making movies. It's Hollywood's a shitty industry. And but we'll get into that.
Ooh.
But really, every time I see Whoopi Goldberg in a movie or in a Star Trek, I'm like, she's so fucking talented.
She is.
And I think in this movie, this is like a Hall of Fame movie star performance, because she just carries this thing and makes it look so easy. And it has such a great ensemble that you might underestimate how much of the weight she's carrying.
I mean, she's all personality. She's all tone. She's got just the right demeanor in every freaking scene. I don't know how she does it. She makes me feel safe.
She does make you feel safe. She's going to take care of you, even if you're not a nun, which you should be. All right, let's get into it with our predictions, starting with Laci.
Sister Act is one of those movies that feels like I'm never not watching it. It feels like I just watched it. I feel like I know every beat of it, and so I can't be shocked by it being bad because I know it rocks its tits off. Those nun titties rock my dick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not nervous about this one. I have been overly confident before, but I have Jesus.
I nailed it. Nailed it again. Another fucking winner. Yes, ma'am.
Did you think I would like it?
I didn't care. I was worried that you'd put this in the category of dancing movies for some reason, even though there's hardly any. Just you tend to not give as much credibility to movies that rely on performances.
On performances, as in,
singing or dancing or drumming. Because I really want to watch Drumline with you soon.
I think that's bullshit, but not Drumline. I think that statement is bullshit.
Oh, okay.
But this movie was directed by Emile Ardolino, who directed Dirty Dancing, and I did notice he didn't write either of those movies, but they do kind of have similar arcs. So we got a big performance coming up, and this kind of new element's been injected and is upsetting sort of an ecosystem that already existed. Just noticed some similarities there.
I forgot about him being...
I don't think he does anything spectacular in terms of visual stylization, but the musical sequences are really well done, and he's good at capturing the energy of a live performance.
Yeah.
Here's my prediction.
Okay.
Forced once again to make my prediction for a movie that I don't know the premise of. I mean, what I know is Whoopi Goldberg plays a nun. Is she being forced to be a nun? Well, I've got the poster here, so I'm looking at it, and she's looking at you in a nun's habit, and she has her sunglasses tilted down below her eyes like, can you believe it? And the tagline is no sex, no booze, no men, no way. Sister Act. And then just her first name, Whoopi. She was a huge fucking star. I'm sure this movie's perfectly fine. I like her. I'm sure she's good. I guess she's forced to become a nun, but she kind of makes everybody loosen up and have some fun. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what I think. But we'll see. God, what a good prediction.
I'm so glad it was that long.
I didn't know,
go absolutely fucking nowhere.
I didn't know anything about the mafia or anything, but I guess I'll just get it out of the way. I love this movie. This movie's great. This movie is so funny. It's so much fun. When we sat down to watch it with the 13-year-old kid who lives in our house,
maybe related.
That they said, "Oh yeah, I love Sister Act." I was like, "What? When would you? Okay, when would you have seen Sister Act?" I don't know, 20 minutes in, I'm like, oh yeah, everybody would like this
Everyone
movie.
Would fucking like this
This
movie.
thing is a goddamn delight. We'll detail why, but everything's just kind of working. But it has actually a pretty interesting production history. that we'll go over now in the segment we like to call History Segment. This all starts with a man named Paul Rudnick. Who is that? He's a screenwriter and a playwright, and he is responsible for a number of past episodes of the show. Laci's movies, Laci doesn't remember the names of directors, but way even less so does she remember screenwriters and producers. But there are a handful of producers and writers who are responsible for a lot of Laci's movies.
I'm learning I have load-bearing writers, including you, husband, who is a writer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And producer, notorious piece of shit, Scott Rudin, is responsible for a ton of movies that Laci loves. But Paul Rudnick, who would go on to write The First Wives Club, check out episode 85. I think it's one of our very best episodes. And Adam Stanley Values, episode 91. He wrote both of those movies. And he, in 2009, basically wrote an essay about his experience writing this movie. And he's very bitter about the way it turned out because he feels like his vision got totally trampled and neutered. And I can certainly see why he feels that way. Mm-hmm. But I think that the final product is really good. And I guess I certainly feel bad that you start off with one thing, they change it, and then everybody loves what they did with it. So go check this article out in the New Yorker. We'll link to it, but he wrote his essay about how this all started. And he said, from the article, quote, "Why is a guy in a gown, I wondered, funnier than a woman in a three-piece suit? I tried to imagine a disguise or transformation that might be more fun for a female star, and my thoughts turned to nuns. Nuns can be dictatorial, sexually repressed, and scary, and therefore entertaining. I pictured a lower-rung showgirl who witnesses a gangland hit. To protect her, the feds hide her in a convent, and because it's a comedy, she's forced to wear a habit. I was inspired by gender-swapping classics like Some Like It Hot." End quote.
I mean, you did it. I mean, I know she's not a showgirl, but she's a girl that does shows.
You wouldn't call her a show? I mean, what is a showgirl?
A showgirl is like a dancing person with like the big, headdress and stuff. Like, I mean, it's your classic Vegas high kicking.
Okay.
Showing all their skin.
Yeah, maybe because he talks a lot about.
Remember the movie Showgirls? We have an episode on it.
We don't have an episode on it.
We should.
I agree. I also
fucking love that movie.
On my list, we're going to be doing commentaries in the future, and that's a movie I have top of the list of movies we should do a commentary on.
Yes.
He talks a lot about like all the Disney executives being like, well, you want it to be this, but could instead it be like nicer and more like this? So I could totally see him being like, she should be a showgirl or a stripper or something who has to become a nun.
Yes.
But Disney, who is the studio that produced this movie under their Touchstone label, says we have the perfect woman to star in this movie. And so it all gets set up with Bette Midler to play the nun.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a different movie.
And her overall deal is at Disney, so it's all going to work out. I like this quote that he has in his essay. He said, I wrote a treatment, which is a studio term for summarize the story in less than 2 pages so that an executive's assistant can boil it down to 1 paragraph on a Post-it, and please refer to all characters by the names of the stars who should play them but never will. End quote. He said, quote, my plan was for Sister Act to subvert the sort of prissy uplift. He talks about like nun movies like The Sound of Music or The Song of Bernadette. They're all a certain thing, and he just wanted to spoof that. Wanted to spoof the image of the nun and of the nun movies and all the tropes that go along with nun movies. So he said, quote, I wanted our heroine to embody raunch, sex, and the unstoppable gospel of cheap showbiz. It would be pop versus Pope, and pop in a barrage of sequins, wisecracks, and Marlboro Lights would win. That's how addled and innocent I was, because I actually believed that Disney would make a movie that tried to subvert the Catholic Church. End quote.
They did not.
They did not. Bette Midler said, Paul, you need to do some research. So go stay in a convent and learn what that's like. So he did go stay in a convent for 2 days. My read of his experience is that he found nuns to be very boring.
Yeah.
Bette Midler eventually drops out. It looked like the project was going to die, but then Whoopi Goldberg revived it. And Emil Ardolino was hired to direct. He had previously directed Dirty Dancing. See episode number 99.
You're nailing this, love.
Mark Shaman was hired to do the music. And he's another figure who keeps coming up in your movies.
Does he?
Did the music for the Addams Family movies, for the First Wives Club, but also the South Park movie. He was like Trey Parker's entree into the world of show tunes.
And I think the arrangement of these songs are what made this movie like a home run for you, because we easily could have lost you in the musical performances if they weren't done in an engaging way. But I think they're so comically done, so beautifully balanced and interesting. There's comedy, there's just talent. There's I love all the arrangements. It keeps you along for the whole ride. You can't get bored.
It's funny, but I think that the first time she takes over the choir and is teaching them all, like, this section's going to sing this chord, I found it like really moving and like really beautifully done.
Yeah.
And like helps you understand this is how choirs actually work, and this is what the different components of it do, and this is how they all interact to form a.
And like I might come from this walk of life and you from this one, but when it comes to music, there's only one way to speak it correctly. And so it doesn't matter who the teacher, it matters who the teacher is, and that teacher can come from anywhere because you have the same goal, which is to reach the crowd you're speaking to. Yeah, and that's important in the opening number that she's doing with her two people in her girl group. Is she's making tons of faces the whole time. And as a kid, I didn't totally know what those faces meant. But like, she's yearning to reach. She's yearning to touch her audience and like engage with these old men sitting at their little, their little slot machines, not even looking at her once. Mm-hmm. And so she wants to reach, they want to reach for just different reasons.
That will always be touching to me is musicians performing to nobody or to indifferent people, as a musician who has done that many times, and hey, as podcasters who made a podcast for nobody for a long time and now to a few people.
Shut up.
But I love that it's not like if she ever like led a choir before, the movie doesn't tell us, like, this isn't actually something she's trained to do, but she knows music, she knows singing, and she's hesitant, but she pulls it off. And I think that's why I found it so touching.
Right. She's not some kind of ringer, like it's a suggestion. They don't make her overly qualified or anything. She just has a total ear for this and knows how to use the talent at her disposal. It's just her. And you see that in the arrangement that she does in the opening number at the Reno casino. It's a very cool, like, what am I calling? Not a smash up, but like, 1.5 minutes of each song, and then it wraps around with the song they started with in a cool way. I don't know. They show you her ability to arrange things in an engaging way right away.
In a way that doesn't, like, she's not being bossy or even like super confident about it, but it's like she's figuring it out as she goes, but she's good at it, so she can do it. It's natural to her, but life hasn't treated her exactly as she expected yet, and she hasn't really gotten very far, so that cocky, there's no overconfidence, because so far, no good. I love that she doesn't become a nun, actually, for real, at the end of the movie. I was worried, is it like Kindergarten Cop, where he actually decides I'm going to be a kindergarten teacher in the end?
I had blocked that out.
But people finding ways to do what they love in less than ideal circumstances is always nice to see. Okay, I will read one more thing from the article by Paul Rudnick. He did not have a good time. The script was written. They had him rewrite the script 1 billion times. And he says, quote, "My rewrites were less rewarding. The studio notes poured down. Dolores needs to be more sympathetic. Dolores needs to teach the nuns, but she needs to learn something too. This movie isn't about nuns. It's about friends. Could Dolores help a needy child? Does Dolores need a dog? Can we have a montage where Dolores and the nuns bond while painting a colorful anti-drug mural? The Disney notes were always phrased in the most positive, gee, wouldn't it be great if tone. And that was the problem. It was like being trampled to death by cheerleaders." End quote. Love that.
That is perfect.
He eventually quit and said he did not want his name on the movie. Disney said, "But you're the writer." So they put a pseudonym. Joseph Howard is what he's credited as. Some uncredited script polishers included Carrie Fisher, who Laci hates.
Stop saying who I love and hate. Fuck God.
And Nancy Myers,
who I hate. Love her kitchens.
All right, let's talk about Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg, who is 36 years old, at the time and is 5'5".
Thank you.
Was coming off the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for Ghost. I've still never seen Ghost. It's a giant blind spot for me. I thought I might see it this time, but
I think I'll be too sad to watch it.
Seemed a little, I didn't want to watch a movie about death.
Yeah.
But hey, how about this? Whoopi Goldberg was diagnosed with dyslexia as an adult.
Hey.
And she dropped out of high school after a teacher said she was intellectually disabled.
Yep.
Okay, she was born Karen Elaine Johnson in New York City in 1955. She is one of 19 performers to have won the EGOT.
No, so I mean, she's done she's gotten something for Broadway, something for network television, and something for a movie and a Grammy.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. Emmy,
Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
Yeah.
And I do also love that she keeps her New York accent in everything that she does. Basically, I knew she was from New York without asking.
The famous story that gets told about her being because she's on Star Trek The Next Generation. She's a well-known Star Trek fan. The story that always gets told is when she was a kid, she saw Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura on Star Trek in the 1960s Star Trek series. And she said, Mom, there's a black lady on TV and she's not a maid. And that's like what inspired her to eventually want to play the character Guinan on Star Trek The Next Generation. The thing I've seen her the most in is Star Trek, and like she played the character last year on the last season of Picard. I thought like she's just so goddamn good. I wish she would act more these days. Okay, but a little bit about her career. At age 25, she moved to Berkeley, California, got involved in the local theater and improv communities, and she developed a one-woman show called The Spook Show. And then she started touring that nationwide and was eventually seen by the director, Mike Nichols, director of The Graduate, who helped her take the show to Broadway, and it became a big hit.
Oh, wow.
Steven Spielberg saw it, and he invited her to audition as the lead in The Color Purple. She got the role, and she is the lead in The Color Purple, which was a big hit and a critical and commercial hit. It got a ton of Oscar nominations. She got the Best Actress nomination. I think it was a bit of an upset that she didn't win because she was sort of positioned, finally a black woman is going to win Best Actress. It didn't happen, and it would not happen until 2001 when Halle Berry won. Jesus. Roger Ebert called that role one of the most amazing debut performances in movie history. And we did an episode on it, episode 20 or 42. It's one of Laci's movies. I remember not being that big on that movie when we watched it then, but a few years ago, I watched every Steven Spielberg movie in order. So I went back to it and I liked it way more that time. And especially thought she's just so good in that.
Mm-hmm. She's so good at bringing the realistic, elevating moments that we all build into hard situations, that her comedic side is so helpful.
Her giant personality is not in Seeley in The Color Purple at all because it's such a demure character.
But comedy is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, right. Totally. But there are definitely moments where she elevates lifts their spirit because she's lifting her own.
Yes, she like you can see obviously this character has a giant interior life.
Yeah.
That could come out in a different world.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
And that's why, I mean, there's just no other performance like it. Okay, I'll read some more. This is from a 2022 New York Times profile of Whoopi Goldberg by Jasmine Hughes. I will link to it. It's a good profile. It said after The Color Purple, quote, even after this triumph, the film industry didn't quite know what to do with her. Was she the next Eddie Murphy? Or a black woman hired to teach white people important lessons? Or the person to call when Shelley Long was unavailable? She had been tasked with spit shining the junk given to her. In Theodore Rex, a film she was contractually obligated to complete, she played a detective assigned to an investigation with a dinosaur, but she still became a punchline. The comedian Sam Kinison joked in an interview that Whoopi Goldberg is what happens when a nation is afraid to hurt a person's feelings. It wasn't just that she was black and a woman. It was that no one knew exactly what kind of woman she was. Dreadlocks, Jewish last name, old man's clothes, a smile that could blow out an electrical grid. Did she have sex appeal? And what would the industry do with her if she didn't? Worse, what would it do with her if she did? Even in her turns as a romantic lead in films like Made in America or Fatal Beauty, where she played opposite white men, her characters always stayed chaste. End quote. I assumed her movie career was much bigger, but I looked back at it, look at the filmography, and it's a lot of movies you've never heard of and a lot of flops.
I have another one I can add to our list. Karina.
Well, I've never even heard of that.
It's her and fucking from Goodfellas, Ray Liotta. Yeah.
Okay.
She's the love interest with him. I mean, she's a lot more, and that just turns into it. But yeah, you just made me think. Like, yeah, they always awkwardly handle her when it comes to romance. It feels like they didn't know what to do with her.
And I remember all the jokes people made about when she dated Ted Danson.
She dated Ted Danson in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was that New York Times piece did a good job of summing up like the dilemma.
Yeah.
Like somebody comes out so big, so successfully, and then Hollywood's like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
Because if we put her in, because this is the way they think, if we put her in a movie opposite as a romantic lead opposite a black man, then it's just a black movie for black people. If we put her with a white man, that makes it like an important issues movie. What do we do? She's clearly a very good dramatic actress, so we just got to put her in comedies.
And she became like a cop in one or two things, right? Jumpin' Jack Flash something.
Jumpin' Jack
Flash. I don't know. I just assume like just put her in charge of something and give her a fucking mission. Why does she have to be opposite anybody that wants to fuck her or not fuck her? Oh, good. Just make her dead. Then no one can fuck her.
She wanted to play the medium.
Oh, wait, she's not dead in
Ghost,
this. No. She's not dead.
But the producers wouldn't audition her, and Patrick Swayze apparently threatened to pull out of the movie if she wasn't considered.
Oh, wow.
So they gave her a shot.
Good.
They cast her. The movie was the biggest hit of the year. She won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Then she did Sister Act and Sister Act 2, and they were both huge hits.
Yep.
But the movie star run was much briefer than I realized. And I guess if I ever thought about her movie star career, I assumed like, well, she wanted to do other things like be on The View.
The View.
But I'm like collapsing all of history. I had totally forgotten about in 2004, she got in a lot of trouble there was a fundraiser for John Kerry. It was a fundraiser for him, and she was there with some other comedians, and she made some jokes about Bush's name being Bush.
Yeah.
And her actual, like what she said was never actually printed. Everybody just said she made the most offensive comments, and she was basically canceled for this.
Jesus Christ. They just were looking for a reason.
But there were like Janine Garofalo got in a ton of trouble for questioning the Iraq war in 2003.
I mean, it was so fresh. Yeah, I guess we were hot into the we do not question government or anyone in charge, especially not anyone touching the war.
Dixie Chicks.
Propaganda was strong. Yeah.
Unlike now, where
no, I just it seems like people get canceled for much more outrageous things now. I feel like you could do this now. It seems like making fun of the president is what you do no matter what political side you're on. And even when the president's on your quote unquote political side.
I think if we were going to war, I think that it would be seen like the actress from Scream who made some pretty benign comments questioning America's support for a foreign war.
But wait, that's different from saying something about, I'm saying people say some stuff about Biden constantly.
Yes, but I think that if Biden were leading the United States into war, I think the tone would be completely different.
I got you.
And the Dixie Chicks also got canceled for making fun of Bush. Like, I know the right wing loves to complain about how the left needs cancel culture, but like, this is also what happens all the time.
Right.
This 2022 New York Times piece the author said she was finally able to find what Whoopi actually said. And Whoopi had always said, like, I don't mind getting in trouble for something I said.
Right.
But I didn't say what they're saying I said. I was like making like Bush like a pussy or whatever, or like jokes. They were jokes. They're not what you're making them out to be. And so then this writer finally tracked them down. And here's from the article. Quote, when Bush comes to shove, don't whine, Whoopi Goldberg told the crowd. Vote Kerry. And that's why I'm here tonight, because I love Bush. But someone's giving Bush a bad name. Someone has tarnished the name of Bush. Someone has waged war. Someone has deliberately misled the country. Someone has attempted to amend the Constitution, all in the name of Bush. The Bush I know and cherish would never do such things. My Bush is smarter than that. If my Bush is smarter than that, you can understand just how dumb I think that other Bush is. Vote your mind and your heart and keep Bush where it belongs, pointing at her crotch. End quote. And she's like, yeah, I told you. I never, they were just jokes. Not worth getting canceled.
Also, she's clearly differentiating between Bush as a person and the kind of Bush she likes, which is her own.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she's not even saying Bush is a vagina. She's just using them interchangeably, and you're supposed to know which one she's talking about.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure her being a woman and a black woman, very outspoken, certainly contributes to sort of the pitchforks people have for her, even though she does say dumb shit. Like a few years ago, she got in trouble for saying that the Holocaust didn't have anything to do with race. She was suspended from The View for 2 weeks for that. But the author of the New York Times piece points out her job is to go on a talk show every day for 2 hours and the panel on that talk show is like every person is selected because they represent a different demographic and political position. You're just supposed to go out there and wing it, but never say anything wrong or iffy. It's
uninformed or misspeak and misspeak on something very important, and a soundbite of death when taken out of context of I've never made this mistake before.
And she says, I've said dumb shit. I don't mind getting in trouble or being held accountable for things I've actually said.
Right.
Anyway, she helped produce the Sister Act musical, which was huge. And she did play the Mother Superior role in the play for a limited number of engagements.
And you knew it was a musical.
I did. Yeah. So that's the history for this very fun movie that I look forward to talking about.
Yeah.
I guess I want to start out our discussion by saying I think all the time about the very fact that if you witness a murder, you're fucked. You might as well commit suicide. The cops are not going to protect you, as we see in this movie, and Whoopi Goldberg rightly says, you're not going to be able to protect me. And Bill Dunn's like, no, we got our best guy on it. Me. I'm really careful. I leave stuff on my desk. I
answer the phone and go, Whoopi?
I'm flying all around the country on the city of Reno's dime.
Nun Whoopi? Of San Francisco? No.
St. Catherine's Convent? Yeah, I mean... And we tell our kid this. For some reason, this is the only life lesson I ever want to impart. If you're ever questioned by the cops, even if you're a witness, what do you say? And the kid's like,
I need an attorney. Lawyer.
And then they're going to waterboard you and put you on suicide watch. But it's okay.
It's okay.
You need a lawyer.
You need it.
I mean...
Wait for him. Or her.
Or them.
Or
if you can't remember, just remember the Catholic song. Mm-hmm. But I mean, truly, like if you had to go into witness protection, like think about the people who must run witness protection and then think about how bad everyone is at their job.
Right.
And then think it's their job to make sure that phony doesn't know where you are.
I would rather call that man at the vacuum store on Better Call Saul.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's fucking
Robert
doing.
Forster.
I would call him.
Yes. Like later in the movie, Whoopi Goldberg, when she shows up at the convent, she's like, these people don't have sex. But then she says, I'm just going to go work something out with Vince on my own.
Right.
That's what you need to do, babe.
That's what you need to do. You'll be safe then. Pushing up roses instead of daisies because he'll be showering you in gifts.
All of that said, if a mafioso moved in next door, I'd probably be more inclined to make friends with them. Than a normal neighbor who I don't want to meet.
I got you.
All right. The movie opens with young Dolores in 1968. She's a little smart-ass little prankster. And the nun, because she's in Catholic school, the nun's like, little Dolores, can you name the apostles? And she's like, John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And the class goes wild.
They go nuts.
And the nun's like, little girl, you're going to hell. I know what happens to girls like you when they grow up.
They amount to nothing.
She gets a wry little smile on her face like, I can't wait to grow up.
I can't wait. I'm going to wear fishnets.
See what my life is like. And then the movie jump cuts to grown adult Whoopi Goldberg singing with the Ronells. And she has this little lounge act. What are they singing?
It is a mashup of her own creation of like 3 or 4 amazing Motown pop songs.
I really like that. They don't call attention to this, but as she's singing, she's trying to get the wireless mic off the stand and it won't come off.
Yeah.
It's like not a comedy bit, but you can just see she's like trying very subtly to just pull the mic out of the stand and adjust the stand and stuff. And eventually she gets it out. I like that.
Oh, good.
And first the shots are tight and you're like, oh, this is kind of glamorous. They're doing it. They're living the dream. But then you pull out and you realize they're singing for a sad Reno casino of old people with emphysema tanks who aren't paying attention to them.
She just wants to connect, you know? She's got great talent.
And she'll make aggressive eye contact with somebody in the crowd, and then you can see it on her face how just discouraging all of this is. I want to go to Reno so badly.
It looks like the Vegas we can afford. I also like how annoyed she is with her other, you know, as you would be, your coworkers, you know, they're always waving around their hand in their dance in front of your face instead of where they're supposed to put it. But they're both very good. But, you know, you just see that coworker angst, and she leaves them really quickly. So clearly no love lost there.
When she tells them later that she's leaving, but they're like, but you tell us what to sing and what to do and book all the shows and do all the stuff.
Yep.
So like clearly, if you've ever been in a band, you know, some of the members are less invested than you. And some of you are like, well, we need to practice and we need to do it on this date.
And what Matt is saying is that in any band, he is that person. He's the only person. He's all alone and he has to carry them all.
Wade too. When I finally found Wade, things got better.
But everyone found Wade is the problem.
Yeah, he's
Wade.
A harlot. He gets around.
Wade is for all.
Wade for all. Hey, people, listen to Wade's great album, Who
Would
Said
you please?
That?
Would you? He's a delight.
Apple Music and Spotify, or just buy it from Bandcamp where he will keep the most money if you buy it that way.
Virtuoso. He's insanely talented. Plus he's sweet and humble, and he's funny.
And he's a dirty slut. But anyway, Sister Act. Yeah, so I want to go to Reno. That's my last note on this.
Okay.
I want to go to all the sad gambling towns. We go to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, but I want to go to Tunica, Mississippi.
Ooh.
I want to go to...
No, we say that, but no, we do not. I would like to go to the place on the river, Atlantic City. I'd like to go to Atlantic. That's not a river.
That's an ocean.
It's a big river.
It's a big river. Yeah.
I would like to go to Atlantic City. That sounds any like casino area that's driven by that for the economy, and it's got some pump and some circumstance, but it's still got affordable rates
and
for the rooms.
Yeah, probably run by the mob.
Yes, and it's not around like family entertainment. It's just sleazy adult entertainment of money gambling.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
But I would also like to go to Branson, and I'd like to go to Pigeon Forge, where Dollywood is. I want to go to places is what I'm saying.
Right. We're cooped up.
Yeah. So,
excuse me.
Whoopi Goldberg is Dolores.
And she is dating Harvey Keitel, who I did not notice is ripped. Is he allowed to be ripped?
I told you earlier, I said, do you find him sexy? And you said no.
He just looks like an old man to me. He's perfectly attractive, but no, I don't have any like tingles.
Well, he is a mobster named Vince, and I guess she knows he's a mobster, but...
No, she does not. She thinks he's a businessman. She's utterly shocked by the violence, Matt.
She's shocked by the violence, but when she's interrogated by the police, she doesn't seem like that shocked. She's like, she didn't know the extent of their crimes, but she knows he's like connected, like he runs a casino.
Okay, but to be that shocked that you witnessed a murder and then to be so Pollyanna about it when you go talk to the cops, genuinely upset by it.
I don't think she's Pollyanna. I think she probably is aware that he kills people, but she never thought she'd see it.
Okay, fine.
You know, if you were married to a doctor and then you went to watch the doctor perform surgery.
And you never thought you'd see it.
She wants him to make a commitment to her, but he's married. Mm-hmm. And he says, this is our first, we open in a Catholic school, but then once Catholicism comes up again, I went to see the priest today for confession. And I told him I want to leave my wife. And the priest told me I'd go to hell.
Right. But isn't it beautiful how by the end of the movie, she uses Catholicism against him because his henchman will not shoot her. And he's being a big puss about it too. This Catholic puss.
Yeah, this movie like follows the, sort of cliche Hollywood screenwriting rules of like set up, payoff, thing introduced here is going to come back later, but it's all very satisfying, to watch it happen. And he, is probably lying. He didn't go to see the priest. He doesn't actually want to leave his wife. He likes having Whoopi Goldberg as his mistress.
You'd have me go against the Pope or whatever he says.
And she's like, they just had sex and apparently she's cooked him a dinner in this hotel suite.
They just had sex?
Yes, they just had sex.
They don't have sex.
I don't know. They have a post-sex look.
Okay.
But this is a Disney PG-rated film. And she's mad. He won't leave his wife.
She's not stupid. And he's been able to help her in her career some. So, it's definitely, she's just not a dumb woman. So like, she doesn't play the whole like, won't you ever leave her? And leaves it at that. No, she's a woman of action. Mm-hmm. And she's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Get out.
But she goes back down to tell her bandmates that she's quitting. She's leaving town. But Vince, Harvey Keitel's two goons, Willie, who's played by Richard Portnow, who you might remember as Tony Soprano's lawyer. Of
course I do.
And Joey, who are very funny. I like whenever these goons are in the movie.
Yeah, too.
They bring her a gift from Vince, and it's a coat, or it's a minx. It's a coat.
Purple mink.
A purple mink. And she's like, oh, that son of a bitch. That's kind of a nice coat,
right,
though.
It's working on me.
She's admiring him in the mirror, and she says, I'm going to make him wait a little while, and then I forgive him. But then she sees the coat is embroidered with his wife's name. So she's getting his fucking like wife's
sloppy second. Probably wiped her puss on it.
Her butt, Catholic. At least. Yeah, she's going to go up to his room and give him a piece of her mind.
She's really fired up. His get well soon from being mad at me gift to her was the thing she's mad about. It's like, how tone deaf.
But on second viewing, I realized she's marching up angry on it. She's going to give him a piece of her mind. She's finally going to quit and leave town, but she's rehearsing a speech. Yeah. And each time she delivers a speech, it's different. Place. So it's clear, like by the time she actually knocks on the door, she's going to forgive him.
What? No, she's
waffling.
She is trying to figure out what city sounds the coolest. So that the speech that changes every time, the part of it that changes is where she's going to go. It's California, it's New York.
No, she's a little rudderless. She doesn't actually know what she wants.
She's making a plan in the time it takes to walk to his office.
I think that the movie is telling us that she is waffling here. Maggie Smith later tells her, your life is kind of out of your control. Even before any of this happened, you were adrift.
Yeah, she's a piece of shit. Whatever. What do you want me to say? Whoopi can do no wrong. How could you?
She's not a piece of shit. She's just things are not going great.
Right. She doesn't have a lot of power. She doesn't have a big savings or anything, and he's got connections. She still needs to be connected.
He is but we see him in his office talking to a man named Ernie. And he's like, and Ernie apparently was talking to the cops. The cops are calling in all the members of his squad. And he's like, Joey and Willie were in and out in there 20 minutes. You're in there for 3 hours. You know what they told him? Bupkis. What'd you tell him, Ernie?
What'd you tell him?
This is like Harvey Keitel can do this in his sleep, but he's very menacing and scary.
Right.
He's the only dangerous element of the movie in a movie that otherwise feels very, very safe.
Yeah.
And like, it's all going to be fine. So
he'll do it.
He'll do it.
He'll pop a guy.
She walks in just as they execute Ernie. And he looks at her and he's like, Dolores, is there a problem with the coat?
No, I really like it.
No. Dolores, is there a problem with the coat?
I was coming in to tell you thank you and to marry you and to be your side piece.
Well, and then he's like, and you were also coming in to tell me you're sorry.
Right, yeah. Like,
you're not going to cause me any problems.
Right.
You're going to keep your tail in line.
Very manipulative, Harvey.
So she leaves, and then Joey's like, I don't know, Vince, she seemed pretty upset. And so he's like, you take care of it. But she flees. Right. She flees.
Because if you run through a kitchen, you will get away.
Uh-huh.
And I like how she runs through the kitchen to get away from them, and she has no concern over who she's hurting and whose tables are not going to get their food for another hour and who she's fucking over.
She should be worried about that.
And then when she runs through the kitchen at the end of the movie and she knocks someone over pretty good, she stops and says, "Are you okay? You're okay? Okay." Oh. See, she's changed. Matt, I had a reason for bringing it up. Not for God, but for finding like what she was looking for to really matter.
Podcast, remember.
Well, okay. Thank you, God, for this.
Okay.
Waiter. All right, so she goes straight to the police. Don't worry, she goes straight to the correct police. The guys that are on the case. It's so easy to maneuver at the police station, as you know. And she's truly freaked out. And oh my God, I witnessed a thing. It was a whacking. And the cop talks her into getting in some witness protection. Those things are very snappy, as we all know. And off she goes to the convent.
Bill Nunn is the main cop in this movie. Lieutenant Eddie Souther. He's handling the Vince case, and he is trying to assure her, we're going to protect you. That's our job.
I'd believe him.
Don't worry. The court case or the court date we're going to get in court real soon, couple months at the most, maybe 6 months. I don't think he's being very persuasive at all.
She doesn't have a lot of options. And look at him. I'd believe him. I'd trust him. He seems like a nice guy.
Don't be a witness is what we're saying.
Oh, okay. Well, then what do you want? Kill yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's why it sucks. If you see something, you're fucked. There's no good answers. There's no good solutions.
So see something, unsee that thing.
If you can. He's like, we can protect you. Don't worry. Where I'm going to send you is the last place in the world they'll ever look for you. And then smash cut to San Francisco. St. Catherine's Church. You want to tell us about this church?
Now we have Maggie Smith, who seemed just like the meanest lady whenever I was growing up. Like, why won't you just like Whoopi? But those are the ones that are fun to win over. She is not cool with this, as she shouldn't be. That is a perfectly reasonable reaction. She is scared. They are in. This is another woman that probably feels like she doesn't have very much power over her life, and she is fearful. And she's got a small convent. They're not doing so hot. If the convent goes under, they all get dispersed to different places. She loses her sense of family and community. But to keep it all together and to keep it all safe, she keeps all the ladies in the walls, not in the walls, but within the church. So yeah, bringing out someone who's already in trouble that could just blow the last little bit of control she's got out of her hands. I certainly didn't see it that way as a kid. I just thought of her as being real mean poop pants. So anyway, she comes in and it's no secret. She's like, no, fuck, this fucking sucks. But this guy's telling me what to do. You think this sucks? Oh, is that guy telling you what to do? Okay.
She's so good. She's the heart of the movie. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg's the heart of it. They're the co-hearts of the movie. Rudder. I think I think that she could so easily be your standard antagonist, stick in the mud, doesn't want any of Whoopi Goldberg's antics.
Yeah.
But she has good reasons, at least in her head, for all the things that she does. And just through the performance, you get the sense that when she started out, she probably had a lot of enthusiasm and idealism for what this job is going to be. Yeah. And then over the years, she has been ground down. Like Reverend Lovejoy when he arrived in Springfield with a guitar, and then Ned Flanders walked into his office. Mm-hmm. And then the next 30 years of his life was Ned Flanders talking to him about his problems. So, but she is like, okay, our church is insolvent, but the Reno PD will make a generous contribution.
And that's what I was just going to say. It's the red tape. Like, even if you're doing it for Jesus, you cannot get around the red tape. Everyone answers to somebody, especially in the Catholic Church. And she has perfectly good, sane reasons. This really could be the end of the whole convent. But because someone's got the ability to make a freaking donation and they need money, it's like they probably sought out a convent that needed the donation, right? Like that's the whole reason it's in this other place. And
that is true. They never explain like why this where'd you get this idea for the convent? They don't need to, but
they probably have ideas, like, I mean, you need places to stick people. I'm sure there's always someone who's in charge of like, what are places we can stick one person? When you have a whole family, that's your more cookie cutter witness protection kind of a thing where you see in the movies. This is a special movie. Mm-hmm. You can just be a nun.
It's kind of like a movie. We've kind of got like a movie idea for what we want you to do.
Whatever.
The Monsignor, who's her boss, he's like, you took a vow to say you would help those in need. And she's like, I lied.
I like this funny. Immediately.
She is not happy Whoopi Goldberg's here. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll help her. But then she sees Whoopi Goldberg and she's like, wait, what? Because I guess she has big hair. What?
She's got big hair. She is very ostentatious. This is clearly a woman who is used to sticking out, not keeping a low profile, which is the only thing Whoopi can really do to make sure that she isn't unsafe for the convent, is to be able to be. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. This lady is made to stand out, and this is the opposite of what that will be like. She's got her hands full. She doesn't need another thing.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering before I saw the movie, once I learned what the premise is, I thought, well, why can't they just stick her in a room and she'll just lay low? And like Whoopi Goldberg says that, and Maggie Smith says, yes, that's what we will do. I don't know if the movie necessarily shows you why that's not an option.
I think it does. She's only in her room for a little bit of time and the nighttime hours, and she goes to a bar. Like, you can't really. You'd have to lock her in a room, and that's against her rights. You can't do that as a citizen, as an American.
But they don't offer like, hey, you can just hang out in your room and we'll bring you food and stuff.
Yeah, fine, but she's bored. She's bored and gets a drink at the bar. I mean, she doesn't have a great reason for doing that. She's just like, I need a little bit of normalcy.
I get why she does that. Why do they think we need her to dress as a nun and actually live life as a nun?
Oh.
Throughout the daily routine. Why does she need to go to lunch with us and do the chores rather than, look, wouldn't it be easier on everybody if you just went into that room? Yeah, now she's known as Sister Mary Clarence. As I took notes on the plot of this movie, all the nuns are named Mary something, and it got very annoying.
That's what nuns are named.
Not always.
They're all named Sister Mary something.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Every nun I've ever met. Matt, did you want to talk about what your findings here?
Do all Catholic nuns take Mary as their first name? No, in my poor Clare community, we were expected to either have Mary or Claire.
There. Wow. How different. Okay. They all are Mary.
I didn't know that.
But you don't trust me.
Not with nun stuff.
Okay.
There's tons of stuff I trust you with.
No, you don't.
Did you know any nuns?
No.
You ever met?
I knew one. She retired from being a nun and became a paralegal. And she sexually harassed me all the time.
So wait, what?
She walked with a cane, and but what she used it for was if I was bent over like picking up file boxes when I was 19, and my underwear were showing my whale tail, she'd take her cane and she like try to grab my underwear with it with the. I completely forgot about this until you brought this up, but
as a joke or as a corrective measure?
As a joke.
Okay.
Like, but she was a lesbian, so like she made it no secret that she found me attractive, but that's why she left, because of not feeling like she fit into the nunnery.
Well, wait, was she old?
Yeah,
because it was often a thing that would happen if you were a lesbian.
50s.
She was in
60?
her 50s.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, for a long time, if you were a lesbian, like going to be a nun was an option. Like, okay, that's a respectable place where I'll be forced into a vow of chastity. And my family won't be ashamed of me.
I think she just wanted to do more. I actually don't. Anyway, she's very problematic with me, so I assume she was always touching nun tits with her cane.
Maybe that's why she left. You always meet these former priests or whatever, and only later does it occur to you, oh wait, why did they choose to stop doing that? And the Catholic Church has that nasty habit of...
We only know we know a priest, and well, that didn't go well. It went exactly where you think it did.
Yeah, I totally chose to stop being a priest. Just felt compelled to do something else with my life.
Summer camps, and I chose to be not a priest.
Allegedly.
Okay.
So...
I wish I could remember her name. I'm glad I don't, because I don't want to share it here. But it wasn't her nun name. It was like her
Sister Mary Lazarus.
Nope.
So they have... Whoopi Goldberg, you're going to be a nun now. Your Sister Mary Clarence, you're going to go to the nun luncheon. And Kathy Najimy is Sister Mary Patrick. She is relentlessly positive. She's so happy to see a new face. And she's like, oh, Sister Superior, could she please deliver the blessing? So Whoopi Goldberg has to improv a prayer. Yea, though I walk through the valley of no food, I shall not be hungry. Amen. But she's immediately ruffling feathers, and Maggie Smith immediately gets pissed and is like, you're punished. No talking, no doing anything.
Because she starts to try to talk about a hooker that lives next door.
I give her a little slack, give her a little time to get adjusted. She's immediately like, no, you're punished.
Well, clearly, though, they have had no time. They don't know. Maggie Smith doesn't know how she's going to act. And the first thing she does is tell a story about a hooker. Like, she's going to blow these people's minds. She needs her to get a little bit more familiar with, like, how everyone else talks. And she's got to exert some kind of authority. And making her be quiet was the right thing to do in that moment.
Dolores is not happy with any of this, especially because they make her wake up at 5 a.m. and then they have to go to mass. Nuns have to attend mass 8 times a day.
Wow.
That's not in the movie. That's just something I read.
Okay.
So they have a choir performance at this poorly attended mass, and we see that this choir sucks.
Well, but the only time they have a choir performance is on Sunday mass.
Okay.
Just so you know, they're only doing these performances once a week. Just so happen.
For the big mass where we get 7 people in attendance.
Yeah.
but no one's coming to this church. Oh, and they also keep talking about how this is in a very dangerous neighborhood, and the movie does absolutely nothing to show you that it's dangerous.
It thinks it does. It thinks it does.
But it looks like Sesame Street. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bar. There are people who are showing their stomachs.
There's ladies who are like sort of holding a boombox and like doing a dance and look like they're having a good, wholesome time.
Right.
But we see that even Maggie Smith thinks that this choir sucks ass. And we meet some of the other nuns later when they're like doing their little crafts. We have Sister Mary Robert, Wendy McKenna, who
what else is she in? That's the little one, right?
Nothing's coming to mind.
I know. I only know her from this.
Her Wikipedia says best known for Sister Act and Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit.
Yeah.
But my favorite character in the movie, Sister Mary Lazarus, this cranky old nun. She used to be at a hardcore convent in Vancouver. We didn't have electricity.
Those were nuns.
Those were nuns. I love that. I love that no matter where you go in life, there will be people who are like, there are way more hardcore ways to do this.
Right.
This is Mary Wick's legendary character actress from TV and movies. She played a lot of nuns, but she has some of the best lines in the movie.
She does.
So back in Reno, Eddie is, he runs into Vince Harvey Keitel and he's like,
right.
Enjoy your jail cell. I got a little trick up my sleeve to win the case.
What are you doing, Eddie? Why are you antagonizing him?
Yeah, because immediately after he leaves, Harvey Keitel's like, he's got Dolores.
Because this might be your first rodeo, Eddie. It's not his. Ay.
The crooks, the mobsters put out a flyer that's supposedly from Dolores' parents.
Daughter wanted dead or alive.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, I didn't want to tell you this, but there's a leak here at the department. It's you! You fucking told Harvey Keitel you had his lady.
I don't know why. They're 2 moves ahead of us. Yeah, he says, we're having a problem. We're having trouble keeping our witnesses alive.
That is a problem.
And also, things are moving very slowly. We're definitely not going to get into court in 2 months. So, lay low. Be on your best behavior, please.
All right. And that's when she has, her first... Next is her in her cell. And Mary Robert, the soft-spoken one, comes into her room and gives her the... Get out of bed, you daisy head alarm clock that cheers. I keep calling her Whoopi. Cheers Whoopi up because she hasn't had any one-on-one or any like just alone time and just like let's just talk like normal people. All of you can't just be just like the mother superior over here, right? Like, so this is the first time where we see Whoopi like relax a little bit and has a totally pleasant exchange where you see where the arc of this character is gonna go. You see, Mary Robert just wished that there was something that she could do that was just hers and only hers. How about you wear a different outfit from everybody else? Why the fuck are you wearing that, Mary Robert? Why do you get to dress like that and everybody else doesn't? Why do you have bangs, ma'am? Bullshit. So I think you're already doing it. Anyway, she's adorable and foreshadowing. I think she's going to do something special.
She's going to do the nun equivalent of taking her glasses off.
Yes.
She says, all my life, everybody seemed to be doing or catching on to things a second faster or better than me. So, that was nice. That made my heart hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But this daisy, I was certain because it says, out of bed, you daisy head. I was like, that flower just said, aren't you glad you gave me head? I was so certain I heard that.
Okay.
It was like the Yanny or Laurel thing, or like the dress. And I have it here. And Lacey's not going to hear because she's not wearing her headphones. But here's what it says.
Out of bed, you daisy head.
I hear, aren't you glad you gave me head?
Okay.
It always made me laugh.
And so I said to you and the child, did that flower just said, aren't you glad you gave me head? Is this movie a little raunchier than I thought it would be?
The answer is no.
No, you fucking
idiot. This is a moment for Whoopi to see that she can also laugh at corny things and just be. They're teaching her to have a more simple life, and she is getting pleasure out of totally mundane little things that she would have rolled her eyes at before. But now she's just so grateful for like, okay, this is a nun, and this is the first nun I'm meeting that's like not perfect, not trying to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Doesn't feel perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's the first relatable nun she's been around, even though they're all like that. But she doesn't know them like that. She only knows that really mean teacher and then really mean Maggie Smith. Okay. Then Mary Mary Roberts leaves her room and now Whoopi's alone and she hears some ruckus across the street and she's like, oh, a bar. I want to just do something normal. And I'm always impressed that she orders a Coke. You know, like she's not even trying to break the rules. She's not having a drink. She just wants to sit at the bar, hear some music, hear some normal people and have a Coke. But that old Mary Roberts was bored as shit like everyone else in this convent and followed her over there thinking she was witnessing to the masses. But let me tell you this, Whoopi walks into this bar and the record scratches and people are like, what is this about? We can't do our evil deeds like dancing together and just having the best time playing pool or whatever. Nobody's a real tough here, but they're coded that way. And she immediately pulls one of their ear and tells them what's what when they try to get fresh with her. And then she plays a cool song after being dared to play a song by one of the British men.
One of the toughs says like, you fancy a dance, sister? And she's like, why? You don't have any rhythm. And the whole bar's like, oh,
she knows about your rhythm problems. And then she twists the ear of somebody. And then that's it. Now she owns the bar. It's like, okay, she's not going to put up with any shit. She's not a shit nun. And then anyway, then Mary Roberts and then Mary Patrick come. They're so cute. They're so fucking cute. I love Mary Patrick. And she, give me gravy tonight. Such a random weird doo-wop song. It's so white. And all she wants to do is dance, but she does not dance with any of the men. She grabs Mary Patrick or Mary Roberts. And when she refuses to dance, she grabs the nearest young lady. She's just being so nun, so
and they're
cute.
all happy to oblige. This is the most wholesome, shitty biker bar. This is like when your high school would put on a play and have a bar
Everyone
scene.
needs to wear a bandana.
Yeah.
We need sunglasses indoors.
Go raid the prop closet to look like
Everyone's
you're
got
scary.
jeans and a leather jacket. Everyone. Anyway, so that goes pretty okay. I mean, But Whoopi is very responsible, and in the sense that she's like, oh shit, okay, I can't just do stuff. It will affect the convent. I need to hurry up and bring these ladies in. She doesn't even let them finish their dance. She is responsible when she realizes she fucked up.
Yeah.
But they get caught. And Mother Superior is like, this is exactly what the fuck I told you I didn't want. We're screwed. I don't know.
That is where I could see Paul Rudnick's complaints about Disney sanitizing the movie like this, because this biker scene really does feel like it's a high school movie. Mm-hmm. And I just wish there were more of an actual sense of danger and sleaze out in the world, especially all the talk they have about how dangerous this neighborhood is and these walls of this nunnery keep our nuns safe when the world is not dangerous at all out there. It would just work better if the world actually did seem a little scary and dangerous.
I don't know but I think we're all seeing things through the lens of Mother. Is she Mother Superior? I keep calling her that. Mother Lieutenant. What's she called?
Reverend Mother.
Reverend Mother. Sorry about that. Okay.
Like the Bene Gesserit.
That doesn't help me. Thank you. The Reverend Mother, she is tired. She is trying to keep her little convent together, aka her family. She does not want to pick up and change and break everyone up and it be her fault. So, I mean, I think she's feeling less and less in control. So I think the point is for Whoopi's character to like reveal to her that like it's not what you think. It hasn't all grown past. You're not too old to get your arms around this. Like this isn't dangerous. You're still a capable woman who can lead a convent and do good things and not just hide in here because you're scared of one misstep.
You think this is still New York City in the 70s with its porno theaters. This is New York City in the 90s with its M&M stores. We can go outside now.
Right.
It's fine. Look, there's a costumed Elmo out there.
Not giving himself a hand job inside of his own suit.
The opposite.
Right.
Maggie Smith is very angry. She's like, the streets are not safe. The walls of our convent keep them safe. And you are fucking with the balance of nature, Mrs. Dolores. And she says, like, I'm going to find another convent for you to go to. And Dolores is like, no, please. I was just starting to fit in here. That lady was nice to me. And we went to a bar and it was kind of fun. And please don't send me away. Don't you believe in forgiveness? And Maggie Smith's like, oh, okay. And here's what you have to do. You have a new assignment. All you're going to do from now on is sing. You're going to get involved in the choir, which is a smart idea. Take what they're interested in and good at and make them do it here. So Mary Clarence goes to join the choir. Mary Lazarus is the previous or the current leader of the choir.
There's a word for this. Mutiny.
You do an excellent.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Thank you. You're the voice person, so anytime I can get one in there.
I love it.
Yeah.
And her voice, like she was a good friend of Lucille Ball. She appeared in all of Lucy's shows.
She wasn't Myrtle. I mean,
no, not Ethel. She's
Myrtle.
not Vivian Vance.
She's not Myrtle.
She's not Myrtle.
But I was trying to place her, and she does seem very familiar beyond this movie.
But you hear her voice, and you're like, oh, that is a sitcom from the 50s voice. That voice has smoked 10 billion cigarettes.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Mary Lazarus is threatened. She knows that Mary Clarence used to be a singer. And then she's just like, well, why don't you go ahead and take over the reins of the choir? And she steps aside. And then we talked about this scene earlier that Whoopi Goldberg is really good at now taking over the choir, and without being forceful and without being super confident, because it's not like she's actually led a choir of nuns before, but she knows music. And she knows how people get together to make music together.
How to make harmony. And she is a clear born leader because she knows she needs to get buy-in from Mary Lazarus, and that's why she like consults with her at the end as if it were her idea. I don't know. You think we can whip these girls into shape? And she's like, it's going to be a lot of work. Hey, you're telling me, Bob, she just perfectly beautifully folds her back in and gives her place and makes her second in command. And I will never not think it's funny for her to slam for her to stop and say, what is she? Is it Ethel? Check your battery.
Your battery, yeah. Or Alma is the piano player.
Alma.
And she doesn't hear.
Alma. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, anyway, it's probably my second or third favorite scene in the whole movie. Is this one.
It's smash cut. It's now Saturday. It's now Sunday. Time for their big mass that 7 people are in attendance for, and the choir is going to have their big performance. And they have a nice, sensible, traditional, but well executed choral performance. Maggie Smith nods and gives a little nun's thumbs up in the audience, but then Whoopi's like, a 7, 6, 7, 8, and they
boogie woogie on the boogie woogie on the piano. Are you crazy?
And we cut outside to the Sesame Street outside, and these punks are like, hey, what's going on in that church? We need to go check it out.
You got hooks for our leather jackets? We're all wearing one for some fucking reason.
They come in, and these Sesame Street teenage girls come in with their big earrings and their leather jackets, and the Monsignor's like, come. And the church is filling up really fast because one song was played. And
it's a kick-ass fucking song.
Reverend Mother isn't having any of this. This is not what she signed up for.
She does not want youths. They're not even wearing church clothes.
It's blasphemous. And she pulls Whoopi into her office and chides her and is like, no, we're not going to do that in this. This is a church, not a casino. And Whoopi Goldberg is like, but people like casinos, people like theaters, people like having fun. People don't want to go to church because church is a drag. We could really rock this place.
We could rock this place. Yes. But Monsignor, I do enjoy that he is just being a messy little bitch listening in on the drama. But he knows how to manipulate and puppet Mother Teresa, yeah. Reverend Mother.
Again, just think.
Stop telling me what to think. But he knows to go in there and to stroke her ego and to say things are her idea or whatever. But like, she's not falling for any of it. She knows exactly what he's doing, and she's just like, okay. And then Whoopi is totally like, oh, I'm striking while this iron is hot. She's such a sweet old thing. She wants us to go into the community, and because Whoopi she just can't take being pimped up in those walls. She needs to get out and stretch her nun legs.
And Kathy Najimy says, there's so much we could do out in the community.
Oh, Reverend Mother.
Mary Lazarus is like, there's a lot more that we could do for him besides pray, sister. Can't do her voice. The Monsignor's like, I'm going to write to the Pope himself and sing your praises, Maggie Smith. So now we have a montage.
That guy must get a lot of mail. Just a touch of love, just a touch of love, just a touch of love, I love the song, but you're like, just touch me, love, or like you pervert like a bunch of things that aren't perverted in this song in this movie. What did you think they were saying?
I have no memory of that.
Just touch me, love, just touch me. You made it sexual.
What's wrong with that?
It's not the way the song is.
Okay.
But
there's a montage. Now they're getting involved in the community. They're really helping. They're painting and they're changing engine oil and they're telling young men to pull up their jeans. They're doing the broken windows theory of nunning. We just need this street to look good, and then crime will stop.
They're only making their building look good, to be fair.
They don't
it's just a very big fucking building. It's the whole block.
They don't actually tell any young men to pull up their
No,
pants.
they don't.
But that's the movie's attitude.
On the contrary, they're learning how the youth dance today and letting those women show them their moves. They're doing the opposite of what you're saying, and they're meeting the community where they are, and they're providing something that community actually needs, which is childcare. I think I missed that as a kid, and I wouldn't have understood what a big deal that was. But it's not just like some little refurbished, broken dreams little playground they make. They start a daycare.
Wait, when do they do that?
They say it. They say that they're providing childcare services. They don't show it. They don't show you kids there or whatever, but that is an actual value to this. Huge.
Oh, they'll watch your kid for 50 minutes while you attend mass. Jack off motion. I just did.
That's helpful.
Yeah, but you have to go to mass.
Or you could just go somewhere else.
Which we approve of.
Oh, right.
As Catholics.
It's a Catholic podcast.
So, but all of this successful nunning brings the attention of the news. They're like, big news today. There's a church that's getting nicer. Used to be kind of shitty, but things are looking up.
They're painted.
And this is national news because over in Reno, Harvey Keitel's playing pool while his wife watches on the TV.
Look at these nuns. We should give them money.
And he looks up, he's like, hey, what are you talking about, you dumb bro? What? Whoopi Goldberg.
No, he doesn't see her. He doesn't see her. No one sees her. This isn't how they figure it out.
Oh, you're right.
I know I'm right.
Well, you're not right.
I am right. No one fucking sees her this way.
Yeah, but you don't need to know it.
Okay.
This reminded me of the movie A History of Violence, where Viggo Mortensen he was a member of the mob, and then he did some really bad things and got the mob mad at him, so he had to go change his identity and live in a little town in Indiana.
Did I see this?
You've not seen it. I'm just going to describe it to you. It's a great movie.
We're not going to watch it right now? Okay.
Do you want to watch it right now?
No, I don't want to.
David Cronenberg.
Is it okay that I did this? It's in my way.
Yeah, David Cronenberg film from 2006. So Viggo Mortensen, he's a former super mobster, but now he's reinvented himself as a family man, and he owns a little diner in a small town in Indiana.
That's a dream.
And then some guys come into his diner, totally unrelated to him, but they start to rob the place, and he's trying to cooperate, but his employee starts to act tough, so they start threatening his employee. So then the inner mobster comes out in him, and he beats the shit out of them and kills them. And then the news comes out and they're like, local hero does good.
Oh, no.
And now the mobsters actually see him on TV and they track him down. Great movie. It's just like Sister Act is what I'm saying.
It's just like it.
So Bill Nunn makes one of his many expensive trips to San Francisco on the city of Reno.
Wait, his last name is Nunn?
Bill Nunn, the character, the actor.
I'm just noticing his last name's Nunn. Sorry.
Plays Eddie Souther.
No, I know, but it's funny.
His name is Nunn.
Oh.
His middle name is Christian.
Stop it.
No, I don't.
Is it Lazarus Nunn?
And he's like, Dolores, you're drawing so much attention to yourself. Please stop doing that. And she's like, but I got my show. Will you come to my show? And he's like, oh, of course I'm coming to your show.
They love each other.
Because nothing's actually dangerous. The church, they do another performance. They do My Guy.
Hail Mary. Hail Mary. Sorry. I like that they say Mary like, what's up? Oh, hey, girls. What's up? Nothing.
Have you heard about Jesus?
It's a real drag. Also, I'm a prostitute, but nothing's going to keep me from my guy.
My God.
God.
They changed the words to make it about Jesus.
Yeah.
It's just like when I did Page Master of Puppets.
Yeah, we got a copyright strike, so thank you for that.
And afterward, they're very ecstatic and they say, singing is all I care about now. It's almost like I don't even need to be a nun. I can just be a singer. Oh, yes, this is better than ice cream, better than whatever. And Whoopi Goldberg's like, better than sex. And there's a record scratch, but I like that. This doesn't give her away. They're just like, oh, you're
crazy.
And then they find out the Pope will be in town. He'll be in San Francisco. And he's requested a personal concert from you ladies. And so they're all very excited, except for Maggie Smith, because she says
she's excited, but
the Holy Father's coming, we're not going to do any of your razzle dazzle. We need to do a conservative, traditional choral performance. Right.
Which is just a stupid take because obviously he's only coming because he's heard of the good music. So calm down. But this is kind of so she says, let's put it to a vote. This is a democratic convent, and, just wipes her out of the busts her out of the water. I can't think of the right thing I want to say here, but anyway, she clearly does not have her finger on the pulse of this convent anymore. And so she's pissy, but they get their way. Is this when we find out that she's leaving?
Yeah, she says
but this is in a different scene.
After they outvote her, she then gets a call from the cop.
So, yes, right. So she goes to her office because the cop is there to talk to her on the phone and to let her know that her court date's in 2 days, but for some reason it's in a week. They go back and forth in the movie between 2 days and 1 week.
Well, 2 days the court case will be over, so this will all be over in a week.
Yeah, but she has to testify.
Yeah,
so she would need to be there for the court case.
To safely say in a week this will all have blown over.
Fine, but at the end of the week is when the Pope is coming. So
Whatever.
we kind of need to know. Anyway, so you can tell Whoopi has mixed feelings. Like she's relieved. She's glad it'll be over. But you can, she's like, well, fuck, I wanted to sing. I do want to do the show. And I do like what I'm doing here. Now I don't know where this fish will live as this bird I've turned into. But then she turns to Maggie Smith to let her know the news. And that's when Maggie Smith says that she has asked to be transferred immediately where she could be of some use. She feels obsolete at this place.
And Whoopi Goldberg's like, but I'm leaving. Like, I know I've been a pain in your ass. I'm going to be gone. She's like, yeah, but you came here and in 3 weeks you turned this whole place upside down. It's clear. Like, I'm not an effective leader anymore if I ever was.
But wait, no. Go ahead. Sorry.
But you've also super raised their expectations and now they expect life to go a certain way. And I'm old enough. I've been doing this job long enough. I know that this is not necessarily sustainable. It's like when you start dating and you present the best version of yourself and then 6 months later, the person you're dating is like, you suck.
Yeah, but she makes a really great point, which is that like you just came over here and you upped the ante, you changed everything and it's you who's driving this. You're the reason, you're the energy, you're the ideas, you're the reason this is even possible. I don't have these new ideas. I don't have any motivation to change things. And I don't want to keep doing the things that you've put in place. So if these ladies can't figure out how to keep it going on their own, they're going to hate that they're here and miss what they had. And I don't want to be the reason I don't want to clean that up. Yeah. Some good points. It's just like when the fucking like house makeover people come or the hotel hell or kitchen nightmares or whatever, when Ramsay, God love him, that beautiful man, when Gordon Ramsay comes through and like completely changes your restaurant and your menu and your fucking the look of everything, and then he's like, okay, bye. He's like, there's no way this is gonna look like this.
Yeah, it's going to be even worse than it was.
Right. Now it's just going to be
now
relics.
We've seen what it could be, but we don't have the tools to keep that going. Right. This, again, Maggie Smith is a great actress. If you only know her as Minerva McGonagall, she has been in movies. She was in movies for 50 years before that. She won an Oscar for Best Actress in the 60s.
I always think of her as Wendy from Hook. That's where I knew her first.
Yes. Oh, and in The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, where she plays Teeny or whatever.
She plays the Lazarus character, kind of with the hard-boiled, hard-scrabbled, whatever, listen, toots.
And she's not British in that movie, right? She's
Louisiana. Child, and it's a bad accent. Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst one I've ever heard, but.
Back in Reno PD, Bill Nunn has left his desk where the slip of paper has arrived on his desk saying, like, here's the location of your super secret witness. And then the dirty cop who's in the office sees and he's like, Jose. And he calls up Harvey Keitel. He's like, I know where she is. Let's go. She's in San Francisco. And then Bill Nunn races back to Reno to tell Whoopi Goldberg.
I mean, he's clear. He's got. What are the odds he's not hiding more than one person? I just think this guy jumps to some pretty big conclusions that, a donation to a nunnery or a convent, that's where she is. Like, is this the only thing this guy's fucking doing? Is this one case? It's fine. It's no big deal.
He's maybe a little too confident in telling Harvey Keitel.
Right.
But he's like,
sending the goons to a different state.
Hey, I have a very promising lead that we should go check out. Not drop what you're doing and go to San Francisco.
Got it.
But whatever. The movie's got to keep moving. So Bill Nunn, Eddie flies to Reno. Again, he has a very lucrative travel budget. And he tells Dolores, they know where you are. We got to get you out of here. And she's like, oh, okay, no problem. I just have to go to the bathroom first. And then she sneaks away.
The little nun's room, which always makes me laugh. Mind your business, or whatever she says.
Mary Robert and she are walking on the sidewalk. And then they're both captured by the goons, by Willie and Joey. and there's a car chase, and the score is very brassy and upbeat. And this is where I got kind of annoyed that there's not more of a sense of
danger of this being. She threw her out of the car. I always forget that part, that Whoopi does not have like a life of crime or like a stuntman background, but she's very confident that she can just simply push this tiny woman out of a moving vehicle. She's going to roll to safety, not get hit by another car, not land on her neck, not anyway. There's some danger there, but she doesn't want Mary Roberts along for that ride because she's pretty sure that she's going to die. She actually seems kind of at peace with the fact that she's going to die. She does. I never noticed it before, but on this watch, I was like, oh, she kind of accepted it. They like pulling the trigger and shit. Anyway, so now they're off to Reno.
That sense of serenity is what saves her. I've accepted I'm going to die, and my attitude is such that it's freaking the gangsters out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I always thought of it as a put on, and in some ways I know that it is, but like she really does seem okay with the fact that this is gonna end.
Yeah, I
guess.
The nuns back at Nun headquarters, they band together to save Dolores because Mother Superior tells them all,
"Can't leave it to the feds."
Here, look at your soundboard and push the picture of the...
We can't leave it up to the feds.
Yeah, we can't leave it up to the feds line of the movie.
Oh, I just said
it. And they're going to get together and they're going to save her. And they go to a private pilot and they're like, please fly us to Reno. And he's like, that'll cost $1,500. And they start using nun power by guilting him and saying like, oh God, don't condemn this man to hell. We know he doesn't want to help us, but we still ask for your forgigness. And then
it's a good thing everyone in this movie is Catholic, or they could not be manipulated this way. They sure do run into a lot of religious people.
I think like if you're Christian, even if you're not Catholic, you're just like, oh, nuns, like I don't want to mess with that.
Right,
they're closer to God than I am, so I'll just defer to them.
All right. So the very confident nuns that think they know exactly where they're taking Dolores for some fucking reason, just because they know one location she's worked. She knows that he worked there, not that he mobs there. Anyway, they go to the Moonlight Lounge and fish out of water.
It'd have been fun because they filmed this on location. If you were just in Reno, you're 60 years old, you have an oxygen tank, and you see 20 nuns on the street.
I forgot that in places like Reno, it's also a trope to get married. That's why there's a bride sitting right there at the table. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's cute. Getting married in Reno. We should have done that.
And the place to get divorced.
We should do that.
Laci, God won't smile upon that.
It's called a round robin. You hit all the
Yeah, in the Harvey Keitel has her tied up and he's like, I was so good to you. I gave you clothes and food and you could sing at my hotel. You weren't very good at it, but
rude.
And she's just like, I forgive you, Vince. We'll all be judged. And he's like, shut the fuck up.
Get out of my sight.
So he leaves the room and he tells Joey and Willie to waste her. But they don't want to because she's a nun.
Well, then she very smartly decides to pray and says, please don't, like she plants that in their heads that like Vince is just too much of a coward to do it himself. Please, they have no choice, and then they're like, yeah. Why do we have to do it?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And that's why the next scene when they're all together, they're like, no, you fucking do it.
They go to Vince and they're like, we don't want to kill her. She's a nun. He's like, she's Dolores in a nun's costume. So they go back up and they're like, we had an idea. We're going to make you strip out of these clothes. But she's like, she drops to the floor to pray and then they join in with her.
Yeah. Then she whacks them both very confidently in their nutsacks.
Comedy of this movie is very well done. People are just going with it. She drops to the floor to pray and they just start praying with her. The nuns, they're in the casino. They're running around. Some nuns are gambling. Others are confused. It's all fun. I like when Kathy and Jimmy goes up to a bunch of gamblers and she's like, have you seen a nun? Have you seen a Carmelite nun?
A Carmelite nun? What the fuck?
I saw a nun, but not a Carmelite nun. So the nuns find Dolores. They're trying to protect her, but they all get captured. And Dolores is like, leave them all be. You only want me. You can shoot me. Once again, the Joey and Willie are like, I can't do it. She's a nun. And Harvey Keitel's like, she's no fucking nun. And then Maggie Smith has her big moment. She's like, I assure you, she's a nun. She's a model of generosity, virtue, and love. You have my word. She is a nun. I get a little teary-eyed because she's so good. And just wouldn't you want Maggie Smith?
I would want it.
To give a speech on your behalf.
Little watery-eyed Maggie Smith. She's always got those watery eyes. Those are some big eyes to water.
When she steps in to stop Severus Snape from killing Harry Potter. Yeah, it's so moving. It's just what you want out of an old lady, is to save you.
Or any lady.
But it's just good economical screenwriting to have her do this. And this wraps up both threads, the mob thread and the I don't accept you at the nun place thread.
Yeah.
I accept you.
Right. We don't need to now have another conversation. This is done on both. Yeah, you're right.
Simultaneously wraps up both storylines. The cop, Bill Nunn, shows up. He saves them. They take Harvey Keitel away, and Dolores is like, I have 2 words for you, Vince. And they think she's going to say, fuck you. But instead she says, bless you.
No, she says it like this. Bless you.
You're right. So you can hear the fuck in there. And then they all laugh. They're like, we thought you were a nun, you old rascal. Sweet. All right, now it's time for the Pope. The Pope loves it.
I love that she gets to wear her hair and her earrings the way she likes to. Yes. It's my favorite. I think she looks so pretty in this scene.
But neck down, she's still dressed as a nun.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And where she goes, I follow. She looks so pretty like this.
Yeah, and I think credit to Emil Ardolino and Mark Shaman here. As they do the performance, you get little individual character moments like Maggie Smith sort of just nodding in the crowd, and the meek nun Mary Robert now coming into her own, and
she'd already come into her own,
but like it goes center stage, and takes the lead, with Whoopi's assistance. It's just good stuff. The Pope stands up to applaud, and then in the closing credits, we see Dolores on magazine covers as the singing star who still is friends with nuns.
Just the puns aplenty. The nun puns a pouring. Watch this fucking movie. It's just good. Like, it's just up there with, like, I don't know, Groundhog's Day. I don't know where I'd place it. It's just like, there's no person that wouldn't like this movie. I can't think of anybody. It's just it's a home run. It's a hot damn.
It's a home run. Would you say that it gets a certain number of stars?
4.5. I have such a hard time giving 5s. I just can't. I think I need to go 4.5.
Wow.
I don't know why do I do this? I do save 5s for like
Casablanca.
Right.
You gave that 5 stars.
I know I did. Do you
have any other final thoughts?
I just get really excited whenever I find out a movie that I really, really love is actually good. But I mean, it doesn't mean my tastes were good. This is just, like I said, this movie would work on anybody. And I fucking love singing. I love dancing. I love an arc. I love a hero's journey. I love it all. It's so fucking wholesome.
Most of it. Yeah. It is so wholesome. I do see like the movie that could have been, but yeah, maybe it doesn't work as well in the emotional arc, and certainly it would not be this giant family hit.
But what I like is how simple it is. They weren't at such great odds that that they had to overcome it in some big, more time-consuming way or whatever, some kind of huge transformation in Dolores. All she really wanted was to like connect and to have family and to have a group that respected her and then a platform to do what she's great at, and she was fulfilled.
But early in the movie, like she's like, wait a minute, these people don't drink and they don't have sex. Nuh-uh, not for me. But it's not like that's ever actually an issue for her.
Right.
And I kind of wish we got to see a little more of the struggle of what you actually have to sacrifice to do this.
True.
Most of your movies you've picked have been good.
Oh, I've had some poopers.
It's just this one's a lot better than them.
Right. But this is one of the ones where where like, I love that I find one where Matt's like, where have I fucking been? That's the goal. That's what I feel like all my load-bearing beams are. They're not, but that is that you love. You love when you bring something to someone that's been right under their nose. It's just, it's satisfying.
Yeah, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think that the second half of the movie is really great. I think up until then it's enjoyable, but it's kind of by the numbers. You know exactly what's going to happen. But
by the numbers.
But I think that they do really great stuff with her relationship with Maggie Smith. I think Whoopi Goldberg, this is a like just megastar performance, effortlessly carries this both in comedy and the drama of it. I think it's directed well. It's got a just nice zippy energy and just tons of great supporting performances. Love Harvey Keitel, love Bill Nunn, love the lady who plays Mary Lazarus. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars.
Lady Lazarus. Awesome.
But what are we doing next? Isn't that what you're all wondering? I'll tell you. We're going to be talking about Mad Max 2, aka we Americans might know it as The Road Warrior. But Mad Max 2 coming out
what year?
On May 24th, 2024.
What year is this movie?
81.
So it's the sequel to the first one, and it's okay that I haven't seen the first one?
Yep.
All right.
We'll talk about it next time.
Well, you're going to make me watch the first one. This is what you do when
I'm not going
sneaky
to.
bitch.
Because Mad Max 2 is so unrelated to Mad Max 1, and I think most people see Mad Max 2 before they see Mad Max 1, and then they watch Mad Max 1 and they're like, wait a minute,
what does this have to do with it?
This is so different.
It's just set in the world.
This is not set during the apocalypse. What the hell is going on? Okay, so does the apocalypse happen in this movie? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Right.
Okay.
This is just mad.
But yeah, that's the new Mad Max comes out that week, and we'll be talking about it next week. And I guess let's go ahead and announce this this summer.
I'm pregnant. Just kidding. I'm not.
This summer, we're getting pregnant.
Yeah.
We're working on
pregnant with Spielberg. It's the summer of Spielberg.
What does that mean, Laci?
It means that this summer we will be doing only Steven Spielberg movies. We will have a guest or two, but they have to talk Spielberg. And we are going to unveil the new and temporary theme song for the podcast that Matt wrote, and we will both perform in a real studio. He's just so fucking talented, guys. This is the husband I have.
Oh, shut up.
I won't. And what is it? 10 episodes or 9? I keep forgetting.
It's 9 episodes. So the idea was the summer is hard for us because we don't have childcare. So the podcast schedule, we're going to have to make it a little more abbreviated. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to do 3 episodes and then take a week off. 3 episodes, take a week off. 3 episodes, take a week off. And that'll lead up most of the summer. And to make that fun, we're going to do a theme, and the theme is Spielberg movies. Also, these movies are all big, and the bigger the movies, the better our episodes tend to do.
Oh.
So there's that. But yeah, E.T. we're going to talk about. We're going to do Jurassic Park.
Have you heard of it?
We're not going to tell you all the movies we're going to talk about. But that's what we're going to be doing. More details next week.
Please tell a friend about us. If you're going to be a friend to us, you would tell a friend about us. This podcast will change your life. I'm just reading shit that's on the screen at this point. Please give us a review. It's so very helpful. Subscribe to us on YouTube. All of these numbers matter. One day we want to be sponsored. One day we want to have a Patreon. One day we want to leave this cruel world and only do this. And can you imagine how much better we will be if we were only doing this instead of just getting by, squeaking it through?
Just finding little moments in our fucking lives to do it.
We're so tired.
But
I might wash my hair.
It doesn't have to be all or nothing. We just want to make a little bit.
Yes,
of
a little something. Just to replace one of the commitments we have financially, and now we can use that sliver of time to put more zhuzh into this.
That's right. And the way you can help make that happen is to subscribe to us on iTunes or Spotify. I do love when people subscribe to us on YouTube, but I really think the audio subscriptions are the most important. So please do that. But also give us a follow and a like on YouTube, Load Bearing Beans
Also,
Pod.
I'm itching to put out some merch, so I think that will be coming sooner rather than later. So buy our shit. It's a shirt. Buy our shit shirt. A shirt. Just can't decide what it'll be. Will it be a joke?
We'll talk off air.
Okay.
The other places you can follow us on the social media are Twitter. Load Bearing Pod is the show's account. My personal account is Matt Stokes 9. Laci's personal account is @the_Laci, but she hasn't tweeted since 2009. But you can see in 2009 when she said, "I love talk radio." Load.bearing.beams on TikTok, where you can also
that's actually where I am. Yeah.
Talk to Laci and see little clips of the show. And Load Bearing Beams on Instagram. I'm on Letterboxd at Matt Stokes 9, and you can follow Laci on Letterboxd as well.
At Load Bearing Laci.
And check out my band Roar at 9. The Joy of Averages is our album. The end.
Okay, I love you. Goodbye.
3, 4. Everybody, love Bearing Beams.